even having to think about it, we breathe 20,000 times a day on average.
And while that's enough to keep us alive, learning how to control and harness our breath could help transform the way we think and the way we feel.
That's according to Stuart Sandeman, the author of the new Sunday Times bestseller, Breathe In, Breathe Out, and he's joining us here now. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks so much.
On your new book. I know you've had to go through an awful lot to get there and write this book, but bestseller.
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's been a dream come true.
How did it all start?
The book or the actual whole...
So how did you get into breath work, and how, you must have had a journey to take you there?
Yeah, absolutely. I got into breath work through grief. My girlfriend was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and it really put the brakes on what I was doing. I was travelling as a DJ, musician and producer. And yeah, she was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and it we went searching for a cure and trying to find something. And I wish I could say breathing helped, but I probably wouldn't have listened if somebody told me just to breathe during that time. And sadly, when she passed away, put me into a bit of a bad headspace, as you could imagine. And all that happened was I took my mum for Mother's Day to a breathing class. I thought, my mum will love this. She's into yoga. And I thought, so I bought it for Mother's Day and we went the following weekend. And it was in that session that the light bulb switched on. I couldn't believe the power of just doing something that we do every 20,000 times a day, and how it could really help me work through and process the grief and emotion and really let go of some of that tension I was holding on to.
Can you describe that moment for us? What were you doing? What was your emotion at the time?
Yeah, the funny thing was, when I went into that session, I was very much there for my mum, and I thought, what have I come into here? Just sort of sat in a circle and kind of a very kind of yogic space, and I thought, oh, I'll do this for my mum. I'll be there for my mum. And we started breathing in quite a dynamic way. It wasn't a very relaxing way of breathing. So we were breathing in quite a dynamic process. And I could start to feel a lot of energy build up in my body, and a bit like fizzing and buzzing in my whole system. And we were making some sound and making some movement as well during that session. And then from nowhere, I started to feel emotion just start to build up and just erupt and flow. And it felt so good. So it was this massive cathartic release for me. And what was then really interesting is I felt like my girlfriend who'd passed away was there holding my hand. And that was the real powerful moment for me, because she was there and she was sort of speaking to me, and it felt really bizarre, amazing, weird and wonderful. And I thought, either I'm going mad, or there's something very special here with breathing. And that was that. So I started working very closely with that form of breath work.
Would you have been sceptical about that kind of homeopathic kind of treatment, or...?
Yeah, well, not so much sceptical, because I looked at a lot of alternative medicines during the whole cancer process. We looked very conventional and we looked alternatives. I think I was almost scarred through that cancer process because everybody had a magic cure, and especially when I was grieving, for me, grief came as anger at myself, guilt and shame. Should we have done this? Should we have done that? I kind of had the weight of the world on my shoulders. So I was open to these ideas, but if somebody said, just breathe through cancer, if you just breathe, you're going to get rid of your grief, I probably wouldn't have thought that was possible, because it is something we do all day, every day. So I came into it quite sceptical, but I just came there for my mum. I thought my mum will love this, and she'd been through that whole process with me, seeing me work, going through cancer with Tiff, and then obviously going through grief. And so it was really for her, and it was just this amazing release, and it just excited me in some ways. I thought, what just happened? Was that real? Is there something here? And what could I learn a bit more about breathing?
And then you decided to pursue your love of this breathwork into a career, and here you are now. I mean, how did you get from there to here?
Yeah, well, I think probably like many practitioners, when you find something that is really helpful, and that was it. It didn't just stop at grief for me. I noticed my energy levels increase. The voice in my head became much kinder. I was sleeping better. People started to say, "Oh, you're looking great," and I just felt like an upgraded version of me.
So everything changed.
Yeah, well, life started to flow a lot easier, and when I felt good, knowing that this was because of this breathing practice and subsequent other breathing practices that I started to learn and train in, and looking at more yogic practices and other forms of breath work, I just thought the world needs this. I really want to share this with as many people as possible.
And we'd love you to share it with everyone watching at home today. But why does it work? Why do you think it works?
Yeah, well, breathing, it depends on what style of practice. Breath work is using your breath to either control how you think and feel in a moment or to let go of control. So it can work different ways. And I cover that in the book, in Breathe In, Breathe Out. Also, we can use it to optimize, to find a bit more flow in our day. Or I often work with a lot of athletes. How do we optimize our breathing so we don't get as breathless during sport or our muscles don't ache as much? So it really depends on what the kind of desired outcome is. Are we wanting to reduce our stress? Are we wanting to give ourselves a bit of a boost in energy? And how this actually works is a number of things. Our breathing is linked to our autonomic nervous system, the nervous system that controls your heart rate, your blood pressure, your energy levels. And so our breathing will happen automatically. If a tiger came running in this studio right now, we'd see the tiger, we'd hear the roar, so we'd pick up, our senses would pick up that information about our environment, trigger our breath to increase, so we have the energy to leg it or to fight off the tiger, the fight or flight response.
And how should we be doing this daily or weekly? And what sort of techniques can we start off with?
Yeah, well, I'd say starting your day with some breathing practice to really just level yourself, get yourself calm and balanced before you start your day. Like 10 minutes a day would be amazing.
What would that be? How would you start a breathing practice?
It again depends, it's kind of on that outcome. But if we're wanting just to start...
Should we give you a case study?
Yeah, okay.
People waking up this morning stressed about energy bills. Everyone's talking about it, and there's panic going on out there. So when people are thinking about that, reading headlines, watching the 1 o'clock news, how do they deal with that? Is there something you can help them with today?
Absolutely. So what's happening there is the breathing response triggers if the tiger's in the room, but it also does the same breath if the tiger's in our head. So if we've got stress, if we've got worries, if we're worried about energy, price increases, etc., that thought is triggering a stressful breathing pattern. And the stressful breathing pattern is sending a signal to our brain to say, yes, we're under stress. Okay. So in those moments, we really want to hit the off button. We want to turn that stress to calm. We want to use our breath to send a signal to our brain that there is no threat. There is no tiger in the room or tiger in our head.
Do you want to tell the folks at home? I guess there's a camera you can look down there and talk to the folks at home and guide them through it.
So when we're feeling really stressed, I usually start with a phrase, if in doubt, breathe it out. Because if we have a nice, long, drawn-out breath, it signals our brain and body just to relax, that everything's okay, we're not under threat, So we're going to breathe in through our nose for a count of 4, feeling our belly rise. So making sure, maybe put your hands there. So feel our belly rise before our chest. Some people are chest breathers and they breathe quite heavily up here. We want to make sure our breath is flowing into our lower torso. So we'll breathe in through the nose for a count of 4. So see there, you're using your chest.
Yeah.
So you want to be breathing right down here. So start again.
Oh, it's quite hard though.
Yeah, so it's in. So breathe in so your hands come out. So instead of breathing up here, so we breathe in, belly rise, We'll pause there for 4, and then we breathe out through our mouth for 8. And drop your shoulders. Okay, let's do another round. So breathe in, into your hands, much better. Pause, and breathe out through your mouth, relax your shoulders, even more.
Oh, lovely.
Good. So we can keep on going like that. That's flicking the switch from the stress response, the sympathetic response, to the rest response, the parasympathetic response, so that we can get our food digested, we can get to sleep at night, we turn that stress mode to calm mode. It's a really, really helpful tool to have in your belt. If in doubt, breathe it out.
Brilliant.
It works.
I feel so relaxed already. I wish you were at the start of the show. That would have been amazing. So your new book, Breathe In, Breathe Out, is out now, and it is a bestseller. So there you go. If you want to find out more about breathwork,
everything's in there.
There you go. Thank you. You've been absolutely amazing. I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to see you smiling and happy and calm. You've been through a lot, so
well, it's amazing to be here and be able to share this. Like I said, it's not just me it's helped, but it's been thousands of people now And through the book, it's the same. So to be on here today and share some of these tools with you guys and everybody watching at home is amazing.
Got good energy, got good aura.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
But good luck with everything. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Stu. Thank you.